Here we go.
If you can set it up at speaker, I'll welcome everyone and
There
we'll
you
get
go.
started. Okay, thanks. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this grants webinar. I'm Jill with Aviator Accelerators, and Jasmine was just on screen a second ago. So at Aviator, we help women start and grow their businesses faster and with more confidence. And we have classes, coaching, communication, or community, and other resources as well. So our webinar today is being sponsored by Pay Forwards, and Eric Monks is here to just say a little bit about Pay Forwards. So Eric, please take it away.
Yeah, no, thanks, Jill. So, hopefully we're getting to know some folks out there, but my name's Eric Monks, as Jill said, with Pay Forward. So we're a fully outsourced payroll and tax filing service based here in Kentucky, really working with, all shapes and sizes of businesses, but really like the focus on the smaller businesses. So if it's, your first employee that you have, or you have a handful of employees and you need some help on making sure you stay in compliance with your payroll, your tax filing, and looking for a good organization to do that while providing great service, that's really where we excel. We're happy to really consult with you, give you some advice on how to get that started, and really walk you through any questions that you have in a no pressure environment, whether you're working with a different provider and just want to bounce some ideas off us. We're here to help, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with Aviator and hopefully see some folks next week too up in
That's right. Flight night. That's right.
Yeah,
Anybody who's local in the Cincinnati area, we would love for you to come to Flight Night, which is our annual celebration of women entrepreneurs. Thanks so much, Eric, for sponsoring us, for your support. It's been wonderful. All right. Let me introduce Denise Hernandez. So Denise is the owner of Owners Advocate Network. And I'd love for you to, I'm going to turn everything over to you, but I'd love for you to talk just a little bit about what you do.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm Denise Hernandez with Owners Advocate Network. As she said, thank you, Jill and Eric, for having me here today. I'm essentially a project manager, and I help connect different community resources for individuals. Whether you're a renter or a future or existing business owner, I help create plans so that you can get connected with the resources you need to achieve your goals. So if you're looking to buy a home, or if you're looking to grow your business and you're looking for resources, I've done a lot of research and worked with a lot of different programs with different types of real estate types of projects, and can help you guide with the type of grants that maybe are eligible for your project, or help you find resources in the city with existing programs that are usually free or available to business owners at low cost. I do organize free family networking events, and have an online Facebook group where business owners are welcome to promote themselves or their services, awareness programs, anything that they have going on in the community, anytime, free of charge, just trying to help connect opportunities to people who may not otherwise meet with each other. So essentially that sums up a little bit of everything that we do at Owners Advocate Network. We partner with Veteran Support Network to do some fundraising for local veterans who have housing and career or business needs that are not typically funded or don't fall into other areas. So we do like custom grants creations, and I help coordinate with different community services like Easter Seals or Hamilton County Disabled Veterans Community Outreach. So different programs. And so they are also very closely tied with my Veteran Support Network, but we help everyone from everywhere, Ohio, Kentucky, all over the US, and Puerto Rico as well. So thank you again for having me here today.
That's great. Yeah, so thank you.
I'm excited that you asked me here again to talk about. This is something I'm very, very passionate about, as I started learning about grants through my own experiences, helping start a nonprofit when I was still working in the the corporate world, and seeing kind of behind the scenes, and then moving over to being a business owner years later, being the person putting proposals and applying for things. I saw the challenges and the frustrations that come into place, and why a lot of people just don't apply because of the time or the fear of the unknown, or just not knowing where to begin. So I started hosting groups, and hopefully we'll continue doing meetings like this so that we can bring awareness, just help share free education and information to others about resources that are already there, And if you need additional help, at the end, there's a list of resources that are free or discounted for different people in different industries. So we'll get started today. Today's presentation was designed using Canva, which is something that I recommend for free. And if you're a nonprofit, you can get the premium also upgraded for free. But anyone can download Canva. They have some templates in here for different types of proposals, everything from menus to brochures. So I wanted to use this intentionally so that I could show you guys how easy it was to just put in your information, and each individual should make something like this that you use for other grants. So this will be just, what is your story? What is it that you're trying to get money for, and how are you going to use it? That's basically what this is. We're also going to talk about a few different types of grants today. Knowing the different types of grants will help you know how to strategize and to be successful in getting those grants. So yeah, if you can go back to the next page, we're going to talk about this. Jill is going to send this out to everyone also. So you're welcome to, you can write these notes down, or you will get a copy of the presentation so you can use this like a checklist. First thing on targeting your grants. One thing I want to say is when we talk about targeting grants is that's what we say makes it become more than just an idea. If you have an idea you're trying to fund, you're trying to buy a house, or you're trying to fix up a home, or you're trying to fix up a commercial property, or you want to expand a business, whatever it is, you have to take it from an idea to an actual targeted goal. And the only way that happens is by knowing what your deadline is. What do you need to achieve, and by when? So with targeting those grants, the first step is pinpointing what grants match your specific objections. Like I said, I do free consultations, and I can help match people or make suggestions so that you can then apply on your own, or you can do some research through some of the different tools I'll recommend, and Jill will give to you too, for finding grants that are relevant to your needs. That can be anything from being a homeowner to finding homeowner grants in your county or by your state that will help you do repairs for your landscaping or siding. All kinds of grants exist out there, but there are two main types that you want to be aware of. There are grants that will give you the money up front, and then there are grants that will reimburse you for money you have spent. So I suggest starting a list and knowing the difference between those, and having a list of two different types of grants. What grants will give us money up front, creating a list of what those deadlines are, or this is something that I do in my networking group too. If you ask, I have a grants list with different industries. I'm happy to share it and send it to you. All you have to do is ask for it, or contact Jill at Aviatra. She's always got an updated copy as well. So she has access to that and can also share that anytime if you do need help finding something in your area. Next thing is to monitor your progress by outlining the compilation and your completion dates. So compilation is when you're compiling all of your expenses together. What do you need money for? 9 times out of 10, they're going to want you to have an invoice or some type of estimate that's in writing to justify the cost. So just be aware and know that most grants are going to want to know, where's the money being spent, who's it being spent with, and how much is it exactly that you're going to spend. They want to know what's going on. So that's a lot of the process of applying for grants, is compiling that information and knowing when you need to have it submitted by. So if you can get yourself or your team organized so that you know and you're not missing deadlines, that can be hundreds of thousands of dollars for you. It's a difference. So a lot of people say, I don't have time for that. Well, how much is your time worth in just organizing this? You don't have to be the person that's doing the grant writing yourself or the grant application. But if you're in charge of a business, a team, a church, any type of organization that is looking for financial assistance or sponsorship, which is another form of grants that you can get sponsorship for certain events or programs you have. You want to know exactly everything that you're going to spend that money on. And so this template, as you go through it, it will have slides that you can create your own, and you can create your own information about your organization or your grant goals. So if you need money for a business, or you need money for a team or a nonprofit or a church, use this template to start outlining what does that look like, and just start the first step. And know that until you actually set a deadline and put it on your calendar and make it a real targeted goal, it's just an idea. So the first step is taking that idea and creating an actual target, so that you know, what is the date I need to work towards achieving this by? Can I reach that date, or do I need to plan ahead and I start working so that I can reach the date for next year? You're only going to know that if you're keeping track of scheduling and time. So that is part of the first step. Next thing is making sure you have your consistency and your numbers and your details across your applications. If they're 9 times out of 10, again, they're going to ask for the same details. What are your projections? What are your, what is your balance sheet, your profit and loss? A lot of that financial information that your business, if you're already in business, you're already probably looking at on a monthly or quarterly basis. And if you're not, I recommend organizations like CincinnatiWorks.org. They provide free personal and business tax assistance, advice, financial wellness programs. They can help you determine what is your business, what is your business profit and loss from your taxes that you've been filing the last couple of years, if you don't understand that. Aviatra, I know that they also have coaching available. They'll look at your financials. Cincinnati Minority Business Assistance Center, ECDI.org. If you're not from Cincinnati, Ohio, you can just go to SBA.gov and you can find your local small business development center where you're at and ask for assistance. You will be able to get someone that will schedule time to look at your financials and help you figure out what that is. Once you figure out what that is, you put it into a template, and you're going to be able to copy and paste that into several applications down the road for other funding types. So the work you're taking to put this together is going to save you hours and hours on end, or save your team hours on end, and also make sure your numbers are consistent across your application. You may be applying for some grants repeatedly every year, every quarter, every month. And so this just helps streamline that process. Scan and store your submitted documents so that you have a folder for every grant that you do apply for. You can also use programs like candid.org to look at grants that have been received by other organizations. And they also allow you to view a lot of grants, actual applications. You can see what bid, what proposal they submitted to receive that grant. I highly recommend that. It's again, free resources. And so we'll go to step 2. Step 2 of once you've set up your targeting your grants is creating this grant template. So now you know what grants you're going to go after. This is just coming up with your overall story, is who you are, what you do, your impact. What is the goal of that? What is the impact that you having that money from that grant? What is that going to allow you to do? And how does it affect the grant maker's goals? If they're housing related, Department of Energy related, workforce related, maybe they want to know how many jobs you're going to create or how easy you're going to make it accessible. And then you'll want to talk about what the opportunity is. What are they funding? What is this grant going to allow you to do with your organization? And what does that mean for the community as a whole? 9 times out of 10, they're going to want to know the impact. Economic or workforce development impacts are really big right now. Most grants are focused on that, or energy goals, savings goals, anything that's going to make a positive impact by you having that. And sorry, I see there's some questions. Yes, I am. Thank you for asking, clarifying. Yeah. So if you use PowerPoint, Canva, Google Sheets, any program that you're comfortable with, you can even use Notes. Another program I recommend for helping you get your grant template is Notion. Notion is a free project management app. It's phenomenal for organizing lots of information in one area and sharing it with your team. So if you're working with people in other areas, Notion is really great. It uses AI to write up and help you come up with an outline. So you can tell Notion about your program and ask it to create an outline, a template for you. Or you can pick a template on a design that you like The one that I used today was from Canva, just because it's very simple. It's very easy to use to add in your information, but you can use any program that you're comfortable with. PowerPoint works, Word. This is just an example, and you can, if you don't like it and you want some suggestions for others, just let me know after the call, and I'm happy to help people get some suggestions for other. There's a ton of other formats out there. So whatever you're comfortable with, just be sure you have one area that you can go back to. It's going to save you time, so much time in the future, because they're all going to want to know who you are, what you do, your impact, your opportunity. They're all going to want to know these questions. So you have one place you save, and you can update it as it changes throughout the year.
Also, Denise, somebody wanted to know, as a nonprofit, how to sign up to Canva Pro to get that free membership.
So when you go to Canva, when you sign up, it says, are you a nonprofit? And you verify your nonprofit status, and they will upgrade you for free. It usually takes maybe about a couple days to a week to get it back. And I believe they let you share up to 5 people on your team. So you just have to go through Canva, and if you have problems finding it, if you email or text me, I can send the link directly to anyone. Makes it a little bit easier.
Thank you. And then
You're
also
welcome.
the question to, would we please provide the website to see applications and grant bids? Again, does that just mean going back to a different slide?
Yes. That's candid.org. It's on the list that will, when we get to the end, there's a page that will be in this presentation. Right. Everyone, resources to assist you. So it's candid.org. And they also have training. They have other classes to learn about. I've actually taken a lot of their classes. That's how I've learned a lot of the tips that I'm sharing with you guys today, is through some of their trainings for proposal preparation, for grants, for winning strategies. They tell you about new grants coming up. So they have a ton of free webinars as well that you can tap into and watch recordings of things that have already taken place. So candid.org, highly recommend it. And it is on the list of suggested resources at the end. So the template goes through your funding impact and measuring your impact. And if you want to run through, I'll show you just an example of, so you can once you create this, you can save this and submit it. But I want to answer that question. I saw, how do we submit it to them for the application? A lot of people will have a portal where you submit a PDF and you attach it, or you may just use this as a point of reference, and you may copy information from your template and put it into their application. So it depends on who you're applying with, what their program is like. And then here's the resources, and with the updated list, when you get the updated link, it'll fix that alignment that's on the bottom. So it'll be a hyperlink, so you can actually click on the links and go to the websites. And we can go to the next page. You're ready. Thank you. Yes. What you do, this is a simple template. I would recommend using actual photos of your organization, of your team, if you have some. If you don't have some, connect.
Denise, your volume went down suddenly. Oh. There you go.
Sorry. Thank you. Okay. I was just saying, for this one, I would recommend you can use the template format, or I would suggest putting in images related to your organization, or put in pictures from events or from your team of you actually out there making a difference or doing what it is that you're trying to get money to help support your team or your business to do. Quick, no more than 3 things, your primary focus. Secondary initiatives might be, okay, we have a primary focus at Veteran Support Network. Our primary focus is to help prevent suicide, and that is through providing housing stability. So we help homeless veterans, we help veterans keep their home, avoid foreclosure, age in place, not have to move to nursing home facilities. That our primary focus is preventing suicide through homelessness. The secondary initiative is to assist with career transition. So we help veterans get career training or employment introductions. We also hire veterans for projects within our network. So we hire veterans to give them opportunities and help them grow their own businesses or get experiences in the different fields that they're going into. That's a secondary initiative. And our universal impact is to hopefully prevent and decrease veteran suicide. So we know we're starting slowly on a regional basis, and our goal is to make a universal impact so that we can make it a decrease in suicide and provide more services for veterans without making them go through red tape, through, waiting 60 days or 6 months to be on a wait list for housing. So that's our story. And that's kind of what we would say as Veteran Support Network is applying for grants. So what you do may be dependent on other people in your area. So mention that. If you have key partners that help you support or help you do what you do, mention that, because you may need money to pay those people that are helping support you. And you want them to know that that is a part of what you do. So we can get to next place, what you do. Oh, this is just a reminder, time is money. Invest your time so you can get the money. Again, I already said it. If you don't have time, that's exactly why you need to just take one day, create a plan, and align with free resources who do have time. There are several grants right now. I was in a class for Retain Ohio has a grant right now where they actually have free grant writing assistance and proposals. They'll help you submit it as an employer if you want to propose wraparound services or services to allow an employee who is disabled stay working. So if you are an employer and you have disabled workers and you want to work with them and make something, maybe they need transportation assistance or they need other help at home, they have grants that you can apply for through the state. And in applying for that, if you register with them, it's free. You register with the state, go through their program, they'll actually give you grant writers to apply. So if you just take the time to identify where the grants are, what grants you want to apply for, there's help out there. So don't think that just because you're busy or you're running something on your own that you can't do it. You just have to plan ahead and make sure that you schedule in that time. Budget time like you budget money. Time is money, right? So budget your time like you budget money. And we'll keep moving forward on to the next step. The grant cycle, creating your target list, preparing your grant template as you create that list. Hopefully, once you've done the template, you're just updating it. It should be pretty simple for you to maintain it because you've got the same message, the same company mission statement, unless just updating it as it goes along. And the third phase is planning ahead so that you can apply on time. There may be grants on a list. If you look at the grant list I have, some of the grants may have already passed, but if you go to that link on the website, you'll see what the grant deadline is for next year, or you'll see when they're going to announce the deadline. Sometimes they won't announce it until the new year starts. So every organization and every department, private and nonprofit, have different ways that they handle grants. P&G has a merchandiser grant where it's an ongoing basis. You can apply for sponsorship and branding alignments with them. It's on a rolling basis throughout the year. So they only make selections a couple times a year, but they are accepting applications all year long. So just organizing that is really just the first step, and then repeating that every year or every time you're looking at your budget. If you're redoing a budget and you've received a grant and now you are able to take the money you were going to use to pay for the services and you're able to reinvest into your business to do something else, that's going to change your plan. So you want to relook at this again and then start the cycle over. I would recommend at least every 3 months taking a look and seeing, okay, what grants are out there that we missed before that we can be setting ourselves up so that when the deadline comes up, we've already got the paperwork, we've already got the message, we've already got everything in place because we budgeted our time in advance so that maybe you only take an hour or 30 minutes a week, but you start working on it 6 months in advance so that you're going to meet that goal. That is the hardest part with grants, is hitting the deadline. So continue this grant cycle application, use this template to help you organize your thoughts and your message, and keep track of what you're applying for, because you'll want to know. And also know that when you do receive grants, a lot of grants are going to be based on what you spend. So if you don't spend that money and you try to go back in to, say it's a government funded grant, you try to go back in the next year, they're going to say you don't need that much. You need less because you show that you're able to get this done with less money. So keep that in mind. You want to be sure that you're using the money for the things that you're receiving grants for. Otherwise, it could be a danger of being seen as being underutilized and they cut budgets. That is something I know in Cincinnati that they're looking at, like women-owned business and minority businesses and government contracts and underutilization of those grants because people aren't applying. So just keeping in mind that you want to, if you get a grant, keep applying. If you have the option to renew that grant, be sure that you stay on top of it and that you keep all of the paperwork to show that you did use that money towards there's different rules for different grants. So some are more restrictive than others. Just know what you're working with, and you're only going to know that by budgeting and planning in advance your time. It's not a last minute thing. There are some grants you can apply for on a monthly basis, and you can go to Hello Alice and create an account, and they make it really easy where you can submit your information in just a couple minutes. But those are competitive grants. That means that you're applying for it, but you're not guaranteed to get it. So they may be taking applications from 2,000 people, but they're only selecting 50. Apply anyway, because you don't know, and you can only get it if you try. So don't be discouraged by the fact that they're not selecting everyone. Apply anyway. All it takes is your time to put that application in, but it could be worth a lot for you. There is also grants where you apply and you're guaranteed to get it, but you have to continue the renewal process on either yearly or every few years. So again, that's going to come into place when you organize your grant list and you know what grants you're doing. You'll organize them based on what type of grant, or it's based on your preference. I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just letting you know what works for me. Is I like to have them organized by grants that are going to give me the money up front versus grants that are going to give me the money after I've spent it. That helps me create a budget and a plan to know, okay, let's make a projection that I'm going to get this grant by December of 2025. And then if I get that grant, I can then allocate this amount of money to hire on interns or to donate or to do X, A, B, and C. That is my pitch. And I want to make sure that I know that all year long as the different grants change, because you can keep applying. Even if you don't get a grant the first time, you can reapply, and you may get it the second or third time you apply for it. So the biggest tip I can give you is to be relentless. Know that sometimes the answer no is just not right now, and you just have to apply again, and you have to try again, and don't be discouraged by the time and compiling all the paperwork. There are people that are out there that can help you do the things that you don't like to do. So don't be discouraged by what it takes to get involved. Just commit to yourself and set a deadline, put it on your phone and tell yourself by October 30th, I'm going to apply. There's a grant from the Office of Rural Engagement that is due October 30th. So you could just put that on there and say, I'm gonna apply for it. That means that I need to schedule time 3 weeks in advance or 2 weeks in advance so I can complete my template, or I can complete the application. I can know what is needed and make sure that I hit all the requirements. Just knowing the deadline and just putting that in there, that's going to make it go from an idea to a targeted grant. And if you can't hit anything, or you can't achieve a goal if you don't have a target, right? So it's like actually shooting an arrow at a target board. You can't get points if you just look at the board. You got to actually shoot for it. You might not hit it, but if you keep shooting, you're gonna hit it eventually. So it's a numbers game. It's statistics. And if you don't give up, you're going to start seeing grants come in. It might be a $250 grant. Maybe that's the first one you get. That's the first grant I ever got was $250. Sorry. It wasn't a lot, but it was exciting. It helped me pay for fees to file my business, to get my LLC started and things like that. So that was a huge major impact. And that's where I was just so inspired. Wow, that's incredible. If I would have known that, I would sort of started applying for grants sooner. And so just know that it may not sound like a lot of money, but it can lead to more. And that same grant maker may have later on next year another grant that they're going to do for $50,000. So, but now you're already familiar with them. You're already familiar with their grant process. So it is worth the time to make a plan and start submitting grants, even if you're super busy. That's why I suggest utilizing organizations like Aviator Accelerators, utilizing their services, their help. I know Northern Kentucky, their small business Development Center. They also have someone that can help you and set up time with you as well. There's resources all over the country, all over the US, all over Puerto Rico. So just figure out what can you do on your own, what are you comfortable with, and what are you not comfortable with. And then once you figure that out, reach out to someone, reach out to myself, Jill, anyone that you are comfortable with that you trust that can help you along the process. SCORE has free mentors. I recommend to everyone, no matter where you are in your business. If you're about to retire, talk to a SCORE mentor who has already retired and get their advice. It's free. And all it is a quick 15-minute call might change your life. You might learn something from someone who has experience that you don't have yet. And that's what SCORE mentors are really great for, is helping you. They'll even look at grants. I'm sure Jill would look at a grant application. There's lots of people who will help you, give you feedback so that you're correcting mistakes before you make them when you're applying for these grants. You're helping, with your message, you're helping making sure you're answering all the questions. Basically, just get a second opinion and don't do it on your own. That's the biggest mistake anyone can make, is try to be in business and try to apply for a grant on their own. It really is a community effort. And really, especially if you don't have a team and you don't have people an admin, someone that can do it for you, reach out to the free services that are out there and just get started. That's the first thing. Just get started. If you do that, by this time next year, we'll be having a completely different conversation on, okay, what do you do with the extra money you have now? Where is it best spent? So we can get to the next slide. Thank you. Yes. So this is, again, a funding impact. This is a chart. It lets you put in your own numbers. So if you have already spent a certain amount of money and helped a certain amount of people, you can use charts, make it very visual. There are a number of different pie charts, bar graphs, different images in here that you can label with your information and make it very easy so that you don't have to actually create it on your own. You just put in the information, you change the numbers, you tell them what is your funding impact, how many jobs will you create, how many people can you help, how many students are going to be served through this grant. That's the funding impact they want to know, is statistics, numbers. If you need numbers, Department of Labor, they have in the Census Bureau, they have free statistics, databases and libraries for businesses and workforce development. So you can get information from there. If you want to know, women in ironworking is an underutilized, but it's a 6-figure job industry. So if you're looking to train or hire women in ironworking, you can go to Department of Labor and you can find out how many women are out there, but how many jobs actually exist. This is an in-demand job field, and women may not normally think of that. But if your organization is geared towards women and you're doing construction, you may have jobs that those women who are training in ironworking could work on, and you can hire interns and you can make an impact. But you can only do that if you receive this grant, so that you can hire someone to manage those interns. That might be what your funding impact statement is. Just trying to give you an idea of ways that you can think about outside the box and how you relate your impact from your business, no matter what industry you're in, relate it to the grant maker's goals and make sure that you tell your story, how it relates to them. Your funding impact may be the same, or you may have a basic funding impact, but you may want to tell your story a little bit differently for each grant that you're applying to. So this template is where you start from. This is your basic story, but you want to customize it, make it so that it's geared towards the actual grant. I like using, like in Canva, they have Magic Write, which uses AI like ChatGPT-4 to help you come up with it. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it saves a lot of time in writing, and they can sometimes make great suggestions. And they will also search the internet for some statistics and help you get links that you can reference in your story. So moving forward with the funding impact, measuring your impact, this is your key indicators. How do you measure success? Your key performance indicator. What is your number one way of your measuring success? Is it by how many people you put into a home? Is it by maybe how many kits are sold, or how many people you feed? What is your key performance indicator? Have at least 2 that you can compare and you can focus on. What projects help you achieve those and help you measure those. What that might mean is you may be an organization or a nonprofit that is helping women that are pregnant. Your key performance indicator may be something along the lines of, we want to help 50 women in the Cincinnati area get free diapers for the first 6 months of their child's life. And this is going to cost us $5,000. And we measure that success by following up with each of those women and making sure that they've got the right diapers in the right size during the first 6 months of their child's life. And we make sure that they have the right diapers that their child needs. If they need sensitive, we use this grant funding to ensure that we can meet those goals. That is the activity, and that is a key performance indicator. Again, I'm happy to give some suggestions, or if you want some ideas, you're not sure how to, create your message or your story, I'll learn about what you're doing, or connect with ECDI or Aviator Accelerators, a coach there that can help you tell your story and figure out, if you don't know what your key indicators are, you probably have them already. You just don't realize that that's what they're called. So if you're newer in business, then definitely seek help. If you already know and you've already had them identified, this is just a template that makes it easy for you to put it straightforward and go back to it and edit it and update it as you need to. And next page, please. Thank you. Oh, that's where we're at. Not sure where to get help. I have a website that redirects to all of my different websites for real estate assistance, for residential, commercial, to Madeira magazine, magazine resources, people helping. This happens to be based out of Madeira, but I help everyone everywhere. So calldenise.co is just a fun way for you to remember. If you can't remember, Owners Advocate Network. If you just remember my first name, tell your friends and family, hey, if you're not sure where to begin, just give me a call. I'll help you point in the right direction. I may not be the person that can help you, but hopefully, if I don't know someone in my network already, I'll help you do some research in your area and find someone that would be a good point of contact for you to help you in the area that you need help with. So this is my contact information. You're welcome to schedule a free call or contact Jill. Let me know how I can help you guys. And if anyone has specific questions about specific grant types or programs, I'm happy to help answer those questions too, or you can send me an email. And then Jill shared the tips. I have a tips PDF that we put together with just some links to some of the people that I mentioned during today's call and some of the resources and some of the grants. And if you could go back to the contact page. Yes, thank you. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your guys' feedback during the call. And if you have any specific questions,
we'll send out Denise's contact information too with the recording link.
Okay, thank you. And that's a great question. Thank you for asking. I would suggest, the question is, what phase in your business would you suggest a small business owner start looking and applying for grants? I would suggest as soon as you have the idea for your business, you start researching grants, because there are a number of grants for startup businesses that will help you get the money you need to take your business idea from start to finish. So I think as soon as you have the idea to start a business, give me a call, let me know. I'll let you know what grants already exist that will help you start it up, and connect with the business center, the women's business center, the minority business center, the minority contractor resource center. There's a ton of different areas that you can connect the moment you have an idea. Jill does, actually, Jill, you do a class for that too, from startup, right?
We do. So yeah. So what I generally suggest is that people set up a free coaching call with me. And it's, we talk anything about your business or your business idea, and that includes funding opportunities. So that's, and it's just aviatra.org. And when I send the replay out, you'll get my email. Yeah. And our website. Yeah. And I think too, that one of the things Denise mentioned, that like, you know, it's challenging to manage all the deadlines and everything. I think another part of applying for grants that is challenging is character limits. So a lot of times when you apply for a grant, it has a field, you know, it says like, tell us what your impact is for this project. And then you have like 750 characters or something. So before you start writing, like absolutely do your template, but before like don't leave it to the last minute, because a lot of times the character counts are so small that you really have to spend some time thinking about how you can very concisely say what you want to say and fit it in there.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's actually something I wanted to mention too, is you'll notice on a lot of my stuff where you see Owners Advocate Network, I sometimes use the apostrophe and I sometimes don't, and that's intentional. It's not a spelling error. It's because of character limitations sometimes with grants and government portals and programs. When you use an apostrophe, if people don't know this, if you have an apostrophe in your business name, it will sometimes come out as a different character. And so that's why in a lot of areas, I've dropped using any characters in my company name, even a comma for the LLC. I've dropped all of that because of that, and because it doesn't look so great. And you don't know, there's no way to tell ahead of time if that's going to happen. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Yes, look at the grant application when you're planning out your grant template. So that way you know. And what I like to do for me, I have a grant template where I compile all the questions I've been asked in all the grants. So I have one master template. So if I get asked in a different way somewhere else and they have the same 500 character limit, I know how I responded previously. And maybe I want to change my answer for this one, but I have somewhere to start and it gives me something to start from. And I honestly, I use ChatGPT a lot. I tell it like, make this more concise or make this more convincing. So they give me this money to see the impact on this. Like I talk to it like a person and have it help me edit within the character limits. That saves a lot of time. Thank you for mentioning that. If you know the character limits, that will save you a ton of time and stress down the road.
A great idea. Yep. To have that full sort of database of what you've done before. That's very smart. Yeah. Any other questions about grants? And we will you know, answer them now. And of course, Denise has said she's available and I'm available to talk later too. So there is the comment, I'm almost a year into my business, but I didn't think grants were for someone who doesn't have the numbers or experience being an owner. So now they're going to start looking. So that's great. I'm glad we
thank you.
Encourage you to do that. Yeah, that's great. It's definitely, as Denise said, there's so many grants out there. Like a lot of them are super specific. So there's not necessarily a ton of grants for your specific kind of business, but it's 100% worth looking, and we're trying. And when a lot of times, another thing with grants is a lot of times they want to fund a project or a thing, like a specific physical expense or just a project, rather than operating funds. It's a little harder to get operating funds. So if you have a new project or a new line of business or a specific thing, like maybe you need a specific kind of equipment to make something for your business, those are things that grantors really like to fund, rather than just saying, I need money to pay myself or to hire somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning
that. Yeah. Thank you again so much, Denise. And thank you to Pay Forwards for sponsoring this. And we will send out the replay. Thank you again, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.